one agent turned Valorant upside down. Riot tried to give the fans everything they ever wanted. Instead, they created a monster.
Because I do think that character was outstandingly broken. Yeah, I think even more broken than Jet.
Riot couldn't contain their own creation, and his reign of terror left the game forever changed.
Winning their duels, getting the reads, all pieces of that puzzle are just working out like the biggest piece. What? Seen it! You don't need anybody else. He completes a whole team. The tour de force. What? As I see that? What is this? What is this from the aim?
Deadly and precise. When Riot designed Chamber, they wanted a slick, flashy sharpshooter. They gave their players everything they ever wanted. An agent focused on gunplay who looked cool and felt good to play. But they didn't realize they were about to change Valorant forever. Valorant launched in 2020 with just 2 Sentinels, Sage and Cypher. The role was meant to give teams defense-focused agents who could provide intel, counter enemy flanks, and anchor sites. Killjoy was added to the game shortly after, but the role was struggling overall. After a series of nerfs to Sage and Cypher, Killjoy took over as the premier Sentinel, but all 3 were passive characters who anchored sites and waited until the action reached them to do anything. Riot hinted that a new Sentinel was on its way in September 2021, sharing that the agent would focus on mechanical outplays with an additional focus of gunplay into the mix for an extra flourish. And 2 months later, Riot unleashed Vincent Fabron, better known by his alias Chamber, onto their game.
You got a name?
Chamber. Being a Sentinel agent, part of his kit was designed to watch over flanks and slow down enemy site executes, which he accomplished with Trademark, an ability that let him slow enemies. At launch, he was given 2 trademarks, cards that he could place anywhere on the map which would trigger when an enemy was seen within its range, creating a slow field beneath their feet. The ability single-handedly put him in contention with Killjoy in terms of controlling enemy movement, but players quickly learned it was effectively his only defensive utility. Chamber's signature ability, Rendezvous, allowed him to place 2 anchor points, which, at launch, he could teleport to and from every 20 seconds, as long as he played within their radius.
That's f***ing wild, brother. That's so good. You could use that so f***ing well. Dude, this character seems sick.
It's kind of cool that you can insta TP, because you can op and then TP insta. Or you can hold one line and then TP to a different line. That would be Pog.
In theory, Rendezvous let Chamber control space, but it leaned aggressive. Chamber was designed in stark contrast to the Sentinels who came before him, and the rest of his kit backed that up. His Q ability, Headhunter, was basically a pocket Guardian and Sheriff hybrid for which he could purchase ammunition at 100 credits a pop. It could also be pulled out almost instantly when activated. But Chamber's ultimate stole the show. Tour de Force gave him a free sniper rifle, equivalent to the Operator but with an absurdly high rate of fire that could one-shot enemies no matter where they were hit. Similar to Trademark, downed enemies also left a slow field beneath them. The deadly combination of free weapons and teleportation led players to quickly realize just how lethal he could be when played aggressively.
If they can kill this site guy though.
It is the rendezvous.
Oh.
The Hawk gets him away.
Wait, he faked it. What?
What the fuck?
Does that work?
Spike planted. 1 enemy remaining.
Oh. God.
Hey.
I love Chamber, man.
Oh my lord. Oh my god. Chamber's actually... I'm gonna main Chamber. I have to. I actually have to. I love this agent so much, man.
From the very beginning of Valorant's existence, players wanted the game to be more and more about gunplay, so Riot gave them Chamber, a character who was all guns all the time. He was straightforward, simple to play, yet satisfying and powerful, but Chamber's day one dominance was only the beginning. As Chamber was introduced to Valorant players, Riot filled in details on his backstory. Chamber is a suave, sophisticated French ex-soldier who served as a marksman before leaving the military to become a weapons designer. In this role, Chamber encountered an alternate reality version of himself, and together they orchestrated an explosion that killed hundreds of researchers at the Everett Lind Research Facility. The two Chambers fired their tour de force simultaneously, destroying the facility and creating fracture, something Chambers' voice lines on the map hint at.
I should go before someone recognizes me. It is sad what happened here, such a terrible accident, one that I had nothing to do with.
Chambers' arsenal of unique weapons and gadgets earned him a spot on the Valorant protocol, but the other agents still don't trust him. Even the players still aren't sure of his ultimate motives. And this, in and of itself, ended up describing Chambers' impact on the game to a T. Game-breakingly powerful, with tech no one could match, all wrapped up in a kit that was designed for players to go out on their own and ignore their team for their own ends. On release, Chambers seemed very solid for casual players. He was fun to play and rewarded anyone with good aim and positioning. But because he was released near the end of the year, it took time for his true impact to be felt.
The annoyance of Chamber, like the peak annoyance, was when people started to learn that you could switch between op, sheriff, and shorty. So then, like, even if you were far away, you got opt. If you were mid-range, you got Chamber sheriff, and if you tried to run at him close, you got shorted. And he could swap through all three within like less than 0.5 seconds. When people learned that, that was like peak annoyance Chamber.
But when the 2022 VCT season kicked off, it became clear that Chamber was extremely powerful. Many duelist players who had previously mained Jet were now terrorizing every match with Chamber.
Got ways to shore things up. Sight has been lost to Xerxia. Yay, doesn't land the op, but the Headhunter seems to do just fine. The turret sit down. Yeah, 3v2 now. You're not expecting Marv. Just one, cleans him up. Nice shot out from Ye. Third on the round. Optic gets a 2.
And that's the op from Ye. He saved it through.
Chamber changed the rules of Valorant in two simple but fundamental ways. First, and perhaps most notably, were his free weapons. Not having to spend money on his own guns allowed him to pass the savings on to his teammates, making the whole team stronger just by Chamber being on it. And then Chamber's ability to control movement was also massively powerful. Between low-risk peaks that let Chamber teleport out of dodge after firing off an op shot, to controlling multiple angles on a single site, Chamber just had the ability to be everywhere at once and make the most of his free weapons. Despite the fact that Chamber was designed to be a Sentinel, he was dominating as a damage-dealing duelist. Valorant was having an identity crisis. His pick rate in playoffs in North America was higher than any other region in Stage 1. And when Optic stepped foot in Reykjavik, Ye showed everyone just how oppressive Chamber truly was.
Weapon isn't good, obviously, as an eco being taken by the guard. Valorant did create a lovely opening for them, but Ye still locking down the backside of Yellow. What a headshot. Oh my goodness.
El Diablo. And he gets the ace in the round.
And Ye's not finding too much with the tour de force in hand. Ooh, as I see that! What is this?
Tag with a great now for it. Ye though. Oh, Ye! Big players make big plays in big games, and he just did.
Ye was a killing machine on Chamber, and his performance in Iceland helped Optic lift their first and only international trophy. He was one of the first players to fully embrace the Chamber meta, and he was undeniably the best player in the world throughout that period.
This guy was just better.
than everyone. It didn't even matter what he was doing. Like in any 50-50 that you took against him, it felt like it was a 10-90. It felt like you had to pre-fire him to even have a chance. He was so quick and so confident in the way he moved, and a lot of his actions were just super decisive.
After Optic's win in Iceland, every team in the world learned their lesson. Chamber belonged on every team, on every map. You simply had to pick him if you wanted to win.
I think the Chamber meta really messed with us. I think we adapted to Astra pretty well, and we were one of the first teams to actually use Astra on a lot of the maps, and so that's a big reason why we won Iceland. But when Chamber came along, we were kind of stuck up in our old ways. We wanted just to run Jet stuff. Looking at it now, I do think that if we swapped maybe me on Chamber earlier, I think that we would have done a lot better, just because I do think that character was outstandingly broken, and maybe more broken than Jet.
Chamber was terrorizing players in ranked and pro play. He'd make a good player look legendary, but he could also make a bad player look good. The agent was in every single game, and many players were getting sick of it.
I hated it. I think that was the worst moments of my career, so I don't like to think about those times often. But I didn't like the Chamber meta at all. I think that was horrible, especially they allowed it to go on for so long. You're trying to play the game correctly, you know, make sure you do everything in the proper steps, you know, strategy-wise and micro-wise, and then you just have a guy with a TP, you know, across the map and one shot kills you.
Well, using a scout as an up. The that shit.
It's not that bad,
You're playing
man.
ranked.
Of course people are gonna run into cryo cells and let him ace.
I don't know, bro. Look at Ye. He's doing the same shit too.
Yeah,
Nah, Ye's deagle is way better than his op.
Yeah, but still. I don't know. I think the up is broken. Shoots a little too fast.
Chamber meta was horrible. I mean, it enabled for some cool comps, but the agent was just super broken. It was fun to play Chamber, but it got boring a bit, and especially like IGLing with Chamber, it was too much. Personally, I wouldn't mind if the agent gets deleted or like reworked. I don't think it adds like any strategical depth. Anything, it's just like, oh, funny TP, let's peek, like something. Let's just take risks for fun.
Okay guys, let's group up for the objective. GigaChad42, are you coming or what?
Sorry, I'm just trying to do my taxes. I forgot it's the last day I can and these forms are so complicated.
Why don't you just file them using Cash App Taxes?
Wait, Cash App can do my taxes now?
Oh yeah. Using Cash App, you can file your federal and state taxes for free. They even include free audit defense with every return. On top of that, they check the math for you, so you know you're getting the max refund.
So you're saying I can get this done quickly?
Most people can file in minutes, and by the looks of how you're playing, you're gonna be spending quite a few of them sitting out this game.
What? No! Like I needed this too.
Chamber had clearly become a problem. He made the rest of the game's Sentinels truly unplayable, but instead of buffing them to compete, Riot chose to go after Chamber's kit. In April 2022, they tested a nerf to Chamber's trademarks, removing one charge of the ability, increasing the cost, and also making it louder. To the community, this wasn't just far from enough, it also seemed ridiculous as the one thing to target.
I think it's a little silly that they removed the only defining thing about a Sentinel from his kit.
The Chamber nerf that's proposed, there's a leak about it, is so weird that they're taking away an alarm bot. Like, if I was to make a change to Chamber, that would be like the literal last thing I do. It's a Sentinel and we're taking away his alarm bot.
It's the one thing that makes him a Sentinel.
Why wouldn't they change the slow or nerf the deagle or nerf the op or change the radius on the anything? But they took away an alarm bot or changed the TP. It's so strange.
Riot went ahead with the nerf, but in the end, it didn't really change anything. Chamber was still the strongest agent in the game. Chamber players continue to dominate all opening engagements at Masters Copenhagen. Trademark just didn't factor into it. The true problem was that he could go for opening picks, then just teleport out immediately without really putting himself in any danger. And since Rendezvous's cooldown was only 20 seconds, Chamber could just keep doing it over and over again without getting punished. Jet had a similar strategy with her dash, but Chamber's Rendezvous didn't require a kill to recharge, making it all the more powerful. But perhaps most tragically, despite Riot's goal of making a flashy, high-skill agent, Chamber was just boring. He used the same plays again and again, lacking the flair of agents like Jet and Raze.
With Chamber, it's really just, you know, like Majority of it is just, oh, Chamber sit here with up and TP away. You know, it's like that's pretty much it. And it's so strong, but it's so simple and one-dimensional that it does make the game boring. Because you don't see Chamber updraft dashing into anywhere after a flash. No, he might peek after a flash, yeah, but anyone can do that. He just TPs away after. How, like, wow, super innovative. That's why I think it would be worse. Like, it makes the game more one-dimensional and less enjoyable to watch.
Winning their duels, getting the reads, all pieces of that puzzle are just working out. And the biggest piece, they've seen it!
Down A.
You might as well form an entire picture with a puzzle piece of CNED. You don't need anybody else. He completes a whole team.
Yeah, pretty much a new jet. Obviously, we can't do anything about that yet. So you have to adjust. You got to play it as well, and you got to abuse the best agents, I guess. And that's what every team's doing. And obviously, most of the jet players from the past, they're all playing Chamber now, and it's showing. You know, even there's a Sentinel, like it's got the operator, and it kind of like suits like the CS:GO playstyle. So people play like the AWP in CS:GO like, as a support player, and that's pretty much what Chamber is. So it's like perfect for players like Ye and stuff, and it shows.
The community begged Riot to gut Chamber, and although it took months, Riot listened. But they didn't just gut him, they all but eliminated him from the game. Riot targeted each and every part of his kit in a series of nerfs throughout the remainder of 2022. Increased cooldowns, more expensive bullets, and a slower, less frequent, and less powerful ultimate. The removal of Chamber from the meta gave way to more agent variety, with teams opting to try out new and exciting agent compositions. He was no longer the agent that everyone wanted to insta-lock in ranked anymore either. But for some of the best Chamber players in the world, the transition back to movement agents like Jet, Raze, or even Neon wasn't exactly smooth. Chamber encouraged good positioning and excelled as a defensive opping agent, and after playing him for an entire season, many players struggled to shake some of those tendencies. Players like Ye and Cryo were labeled Chamber merchants, despite the fact that they'd previously succeeded on agents like Jet long before Chamber even existed. The Chamber playstyle had long-lasting effects on plenty of players and changed the way that many people thought about the game.
There's a lot of variables here, and in addition to that, you have like different coaches, different players around these individuals. And if you were to put Ye in like a server and you were to do some kind of mechanical aim test between now and then, it would look very similar. It would almost be probably indistinguishable to a viewer, but yet what you see in a server doesn't tell you that. That's because all of these variables are still in play that you can't see. I just think it's way more complex than what people make it out to be.
I felt like it was really random because like all you needed like to win that year was just a good Chamber. Like the best Chamber was the best team basically that year. I think just the whole kit was too overtuned.
With Chamber, Riot gave Valorant players everything they could have wanted. A character designed around just gunplay, wrapped up in a cool, appealing character design. He rewarded players of all skill levels and just felt cool. He was a fresh take on a stale role, a boon to players who wanted to take the fight to their opponents. He was powerful and just felt good to play. Chamber may have been too strong in the end, but he represented a possible direction for Valorant that Riot has turned away from. We likely won't see more streamlined, simple agents that focus almost exclusively on gunplay ever again. Riot changed the game, and players everywhere now play a different Valorant, one that will be marked by Chamber forever.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit us up on our X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.